Welcome to the Weeple Program Information Form tutorial. This online form will replace the paper program information form that you normally fill out for your programs. This form will be submitted and sent to your building manager for approval. Once the program has been approved, as well as the requisition and presenter agreement, the building manager will forward the program on to the Communications and Development Manager, Virtual Services Manager, and the Director. This online form will be available on WeepleNet. It is also available at this web address, https://www.research.net/s/WeepleProgram. You can type this URL into your web browser. You can save it as a bookmark, save it to your favorites, and that way you can access this at any time. One of the things that I wanted to point out with this online form is that every title, every heading that has an asterisk next to it means that it's required information. For example, program title is required. Now what I'm going to do is try a test. This will give you a good idea of how to submit your programs on this online form. Now I'm going to do a test with the story time. And the reason I choose story time is because it varies with age groups and days of the week and times. So a normal program where it's only one program title, one date, one start time, and one end time is very easy to input. But it can get kind of complicated when you get into children's programs, especially story time. So I'm going to do one of the more difficult ones first, and to give you kind of a good idea of how to submit those programs using this online form. So first of all, and I've done this quite a few times, so it might pop up. It probably won't pop up on your screen. But if I start typing story times, I'm also going to add a test to it so that I know that it's a test. Now the program description is also information that's required. Now this information is going to be all of the information that will be required in the newsletter, on the website, on the online sign-up, in the flyer, anything or anywhere that your program will be listed. This will be the description of your program. So you want to put any pertinent information in this box. Now, because story times have various age groups and days of the week and times of day, this will be a good place to put that information because it can get kind of complicated. So you can add your general program description. For example, our story times are for birth to school age and families. Now you can get a little bit more detailed. So Mondays, 0 to 18 months, 9:30. Now just make sure that you're putting your end times when the program is over, because our online sign-up feature for our new website is going to require the end time for your program so that our patrons know when the program ends. So let's say Wednesdays, we have 2- and 3-year-olds, and that's from 10:15 to 10:45. And let's just say Fridays, we have a family story time. So it doesn't really matter what age group comes. And I'll show you how this becomes important later on when you're filling out some of this information. So for example, the program dates, start times, and end times, these can vary widely. So you can enter any type of information that you need to into these boxes. For example, program dates. For example, story times may be 6 weeks. So you can say 6 weeks from, I'm just guessing, February 1st to March 17th. Start times. Because you've already put the start times and end times in the program description, you don't have to add that information if you want to, or if your program is just one day with one start time and one to end time, please enter that information here. That would make it a lot easier. So the start time, you can say varies, or see description. You do have to fill in these boxes. If you don't fill them in, you might get an error saying that you need to fill them in. So please type something into the box, even if it's just to see the program description. Now, when you enter your program location, you can check which location you're at, but please type in what room in the building this will be located. So obviously this will be in the story time room. Now, when you come down to your event type, you can choose all that apply. Now, you're going to want to make sure that if your event falls into multiple categories, like for instance, these story times, they're not only for children, but there's also a family story time, so you can choose a family event and story time. That way, when people are using our online sign-up feature and they want to search events of only one particular type, if they choose story times, all the story times will be listed, including the family story time. If they choose a family event, the family story time will be listed, but not necessarily the other children's story times where the parents may not attend. Now, the next question is, what is the attendance limit for this program? If you have a general amount of children that you accept for this program, like for example, let's say 15, if you have, you can say plus parents, it's up to you. But what this will allow us to do is to limit our registration online for how many people can come. So you want to make sure that you have a rough idea of how many people you can accommodate in your program, and that way we can limit the attendance on our online sign-up. That way people can be automatically moved to a waiting list if that becomes an issue. All age groups, you'll want to pick the age groups that apply to your event. You have all ages. Some events you can have all ages, adults, seniors, families, and then you have it broken down by months, 0 to 18, 18 to 24, and then by years up until 5, kindergartners, all the way up until 12th grade. So in this instance, family, 0 to 18, 18 to 24, 1, 2, and 3. And you'll want to make sure that you put your information. Just your name should suffice. Now, the presenter or speaker contact information, this is if you have an outside presenter coming in that's going to be doing this program. If you don't have an outside person coming in, you can leave that blank. You can also, if there are multiple librarians who are doing story time, you can add their names as well. That's not a problem. Cost of the program, if there's any costs that are going to be incurred with this program, you can add this here. If not, just leave it blank.